Okay, hello, I am JCM Killer 9, as you can see up here, and I am a long-term developer on this platform. And I decided it would be a pretty interesting idea for me to basically just document the entire process of making a game from scratch, mostly. Um, I'm not going to spend too much time on this game, but I will have a functioning game by the end of this. I'm not really going to do a whole lot of editing unless I really need to, so don't expect any kind of background music or, cuts unless I really have to cut something. Like if it drags on for too long. Like, expect things to drag on because it's unedited mostly, but if it really, really drags on, like if nothing happens, basically, I'll probably cut it or at least pause it. Um, I don't really have any end goal outside of just having a functioning game, but I will do my best to explain everything I'm doing. So we're basically going to be covering over every basis from creating an idea to formulating more ideas off of the basis of our idea, starting building, scripting, uh, maybe some UI design, monetizing, all that. Icon, thumbnail development, and, advertising. I don't really expect this game to go anywhere, but I do hope that it gives some people at least something to listen to, maybe something to watch because it's interesting. Because I know some people do like watching this kind of thing. So, without further ado, I think it's about time we start thinking on an idea. Now, I do have a little bit of an idea, but before that, actually, I do want to give a little bit of disclaimer. I am currently really sick, so I apologize if I sound a little nasally. Or if my mic abruptly cuts, I'm going to do my best to try and mute out any coughs, but no guarantee. So if I abruptly stop talking, it's probably because I've muted to cough, and I don't want you guys to hear that. Anyhow, so I think for an idea, I'm just gonna go with something a little basic. We're gonna do, how about a little bit of a twist on a tycoon? I'm thinking, let's say a Pac-Man Tycoon. How's that sound? Let's bring this open. I'll just kind of make a general basis of what I'm doing here. Just make a small area here. Is that the right size? 6 by 6. No, that's 6 by 7. I'm blind. No, is that right? Am I just stupid? I am stupid. Ah, that was right. Okay. Let's say this is our maze. We're basically going to have a maze area. In this maze, we're going to have pellets, place basically just a maze. I'm not sure if I'm going to put ghosts in here because you gotta keep in mind that the main player base of this platform are kids, and although I don't doubt that having ghosts would make it impossible for them to play, it might make it a little too hard for them to play. So I'm not entirely sure about if I'm gonna put ghosts in here, but that might work. So we're gonna have a little maze for players to walk around and collect pellets, and then we need some kind of place outside of this in which players can then spin their pellets. I'm not really sure how to do that though, so let's think. I'll come back to this in a bit. But for now, let's focus on this idea of a maze. So we're going to make a little maze here. Nothing too special, just something basic. For now, we can always come back and detail it more. There we go. Perfect. I want to use this time to actually kind of talk about a couple things. Uh, Sometimes I get a lot of people who ask me things like, where did you learn to script? Or how do you become a developer? And truthfully, it's just something you have to kind of pick up and learn yourself. You have to kind of dedicate yourself to doing it. It doesn't really just kind of come naturally, if that makes any sense. You really have to push yourself to learn it. If you don't want to learn it, then you're not going to have fun learning it. Like me personally, when I was learning scripting, I had a blast, just learning and trying out all these things. Is this going to be big enough? No, that's only a 4 by 4. Hmm. Let's go 8 by 8. That feels a little better. Yeah. Let's get a player in. Always remember to put your dummies in. It's nice for scale. Nice. Yeah, that seems pretty big. Yeah, that's fine. We're not going to go with anything too complex here. We're just going to go with something that's usable. Let's make a little area here. Oh, our area is lopsided. That's not great. That's going to be a little annoying. But, fret not. We can deal with this. Womp. Womp. There we go. Perfect. Hmm. Let's actually start over. Let's say we're gonna go with that. I like the idea of a 4 by 4, so I'm perfectly fine with that. But I will say, let's just start with something basic for now. I don't want to spend too much time on this. Oh, that's annoying. Oh, it's fine. We could always just reduce the size of this thing. It's not really the final product, so there we go. Perfect. Let's see. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time on this game because I do have other games that I want to work on, obviously. But I figured this would just be a nice kind of, breath of fresh air. I don't know, some people might actually enjoy watching this. It's almost like ASMR to some people, or it's just fun to see people make, things. Now, I'm going to say it now. I am not exactly a PG-13 kind of person, to be honest. I do swear from time to time, so I apologize in advance if it just kind of blurts out. I'm not going to censor it because I don't want to have to go back and edit anything. So you've been advised. If for some ungodly reason you can't stomach, a swear here and there, you've been forewarned. But I do have a little bit of a potty mouth, so bear with me. Oh, there we go. That looks good. Let's get this background a different color so I can see better. Much nicer. Like I said earlier, we're not going to spend too much time on this. We're just trying to get the basis of this down. Let's do that. That looks nice. Same with this. Let's put that on this side. Very nice. Not quite. I actually messed that up. I'm stupid. Actually, delete that. There we go. But for anybody who wants to get into game development, just learn. Just take the time to learn it, and it will come to you. It's just a matter of patience, honestly. Me personally, I took years trying to learn how to script, but I know some people who have picked it up in a matter of days. It's a matter of if you're just willing to commit yourself to learning it. 'Cause I took my sweet time. I didn't really dedicate myself all that much to it. You know what I mean? But if you push yourself to learn it, you will learn it pretty fast. It's not hard. There we go. What else to do? What else to do? Let's move that let's move that here. Better yet, let's do something like this. That looks good. Nope, can't have that there. That's a big no-no. Alright, nice little starter maze here. So far, so good. Just 1 second. Sorry about that. Sore throat. Anywho. Alright, I will be breaking this video down into several parts. Just kind of detailing what I'm doing as I go, if that makes any sense. Just kind of giving loose descriptions of what I'm doing. Right now I'm just trying to see if I can... It does center, it's perfect, okay. How's that look? Just about right. I would prefer it if this was actually only one. There we go. That looks good. Alright. Now let's make this a sphere, actually. Ball. Make it white. A little bit of neon. That looks good. Let's actually make it a little smaller, just for my sake. There we go. Not that it has to be, but I do prefer it when it's a little smaller. That looks good. Nice. I'm going to quickly change the color of everything, except this backdrop and these orbs. We're actually going to put this in a folder real quick. Insert object, folder. Oh, whoops. There we go. Put that there. We can get rid of this now. Let's see. Grab all this. Boom. Electric blue is my favorite color. Yeah, that looks nice. Another reason I just kind of wanted to do this because I do talk a lot when I develop. I do talk to myself a lot. I figured, why talk to myself a lot when I can talk to, you know, OBS. So let's see, folder. Let's get a folder for these pellets. No, whoops. There we go. Grab this, that, and this. Put that in here. We'll name this pellets. And we'll name this one walls. Looking good. Now I'm just going to quickly put all these pellets up real quick. Oh, well, that's a little bit of a nuisance. What's going on here? Oh, it looks like our wall got a little messed up here. I hope that fixed it. Alright, that did. Alright, great. I got a little worried there. Alright. Back to this. 4 duplicates. Now, what I'm thinking is, I'm thinking the whole point of this tycoon is you run through here and you pick up pellets, and then you take that back to your tycoon, and then you can turn that into money. So you kind of become the dropper in a sense. Instead of just waiting on the dropper to make money for you, you kind of become the dropper, if that makes any sense. Of course, we're going to have to make some kind of way for you to turn pellets into money that you can upgrade. I'm thinking maybe we could have some kind of system where you put your pellets inside the dropper and then the dropper can then puts it on the conveyor. You get me? In which you could that conveyor might upgrade, refine, duplicate pellets. You get me? You could buy more droppers to increase the dropping speed of your pellets if you want your money faster. You could, maybe we could incorporate some way to get more pellets per pickup. Maybe you get 2 for picking these up instead of 1. That sounds like a good idea to me. Duplicate. Now right now we're just going to focus on making the main parts of our game basically like a plan. I think that looks pretty good. Let's just finish filling this out. Here we go. Boom. Whoops. Just 1 second. Alright, back. Ooh, sinus is really getting to me. I kind of want to use this time to really really talk about some things that really just kind of strike me as odd. A lot of people are just too focused on making their development career all about money, and not that that's in any sense bad. Some people really just need the money, you know? Maybe they have a car to pay off. Maybe they're in student loans. Maybe they're working a couple of jobs and they need any extra money that they can get. Maybe they come from a poor family and, want to support their family in any way possible. It's honestly just up to them. And I'm in no place to judge somebody for what they want to do with their free time. If making games that are prioritizing on making money is what they want to do, by all means go for it. It's no different. But it really makes you think about why some people make their games all about the money, but then they kind of let their attitudes get to them. And if you're going to be a developer, you have to have a nice attitude. And I'm by no means a nice person all the time. I get angry. I have anger issues. It is what it is. But I'm respectful to people who actually need to be respectful to, at. But some people, they're developers and they're just complete, bumbling idiots about it. And it's just, come on, man. Pick up your pace. Some developers are just too focused on pushing down other developers so that they can climb higher themselves without realizing that. Hold on. Right back. Sorry about that. A lot of them don't really realize that it's that kind of attitude that really drags them down. There we go. Oh, almost done. I say, as long as you're respectful, you should be allowed to make any kind of game that you want. Just as long as you're not a twat about it. There we go. Nice little maze of pellets. Now my first thought is to go ahead and make this game R6, but I know that not a lot of people like R15, but R15 games tend to do better with the kids anyways, but I'll just make it a choice for now. Let me just anchor everything here. Take my pellets. Let's name them pellets. Can collide off. Anchor true. Yep. All right. Perfect. Let's grab our spawn location. Let's turn off that force field. That force field always gets on my nerves. Where is it? Oh, it is off. I guess they just do that by default now. Alright, settings. We're just going to quickly give this a run. Oh, the big funny. We'll name it later. Thank you. There we go. Avatar, player choice. Yep, perfect. Let's play. By the way, sorry if you can hear me shaking my headphones. I have excessively long hair and it gets in my eyes a lot. If you notice, we have all these pellets here. Looks pretty good. I'm not really sure if I'm going to keep these walls so low, but I'm not entirely against it. Alright, I apologize profusely, but in the middle of recording, my headset, among all odds, just decided to die, so I wasn't able to do anything about that. So, but we're back. I let it charge, and I really didn't do anything else, so... Anyhow, let's get back to this, and hopefully we don't have any more interruptions from my headset for the rest of this video. Alright, yoink. So we have the base of our area done. Now let's get something else done. What are we going to do? Now what are the rules of our game? Let's make a little notepad here. This is what I like doing whenever I'm trying to think. How do you play the game? Well, we need a maze. We need a place for meat, like a tycoon. We need to collect pellets. We need to dispense pellets. We need to get into the maze. So a way to get into it. Get back home. A way to get back home. That sounds pretty good. I think we've already gotten a pretty good list of things to do, huh? Now let's focus on a place for me real quick. What would that look like? We don't really have to do anything specific yet, but I would like the foundation of my place. So let's make a nice little base plate here. Let's just take the outer walls here. Cut, paste. There we go. Let's say this is home. That feels pretty nice. Now we're gonna say, let's give it a nice place. Duplicate. There we go. Duplicate. Just a way to get back home. Well, let's move this back a little bit. There we go. Perfect. Let's just assume this is how you get in and out of the maze. Now what we need here for this to work? Oh, ooh. That's not the right material. If I had to guess or say, I would probably say we need a place for pellets to go. So let's make just a path for now. We want this path to be relatively long because we want there to be a lot of things that could go on this path. If that makes any sense. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. Let's check our former back real quick. Now we have a place, but we really got to do more thinking. Oh, looks like our thing isn't exactly lined up. Here, let me just yoink. There we go. 4, 1, 2. 1, 2. Perfect. Let's make a little guardrail just to ensure our idea makes sense. There we go. Let's make this a little blacker than the floor so it sticks out a little better. Perfect. We're going to give this a little bit of a height so it doesn't... Perfect. Beautiful. Now we're going to come to this later, but so far so good. Now the idea is that we're going to have a place for you to input pellets, maybe here, might move it, in which a dropper places the pellets that we give it on the conveyor, goes down this conveyor all the way to the end, and then turns into money. Capiche? And then along here, we have generic upgrades, like maybe a place to refine, you know, duplicate, upgrade, whatever the hell. Now we also might be able to make a second line over here. Oh, whoops, let's make that look right. I'm not really sure how far away this is. Alright, that makes sense, I guess. Give me a second. 4, no, 4, no, up, 4, 1, 2. There we go. Maybe we could have another line here of pellets that spawn from a generating dropper, maybe some kind of drill, you know what I mean? Drills into the walls, gives you pellets. That way there's not not that it's all manual labor, but it's mostly manual labor. But there's some Tycoon aspects to it. Then we could maybe have some kind of place for fruits, because this is a Pac-Man type of Tycoon, so we need fruits. What those fruits could do, we could figure out later. But for now, I think that looks pretty good. So we're gonna anchor all this. Now I think what we can do is we can just have it spawn the player in a random corner, and that's probably the best way. We could have it do some kind of animation of them just kind of, woo, do a little spinning like woo, and do it again just like woo. That seems pretty fun. So I think our idea is really coming together here. Just a nice little basic game. We can obviously expand on this maze idea a little bit better, but that's to come soon. Right now, let's get a little scripting done. A little scripting magic. We're going to open server script service. We're going to say script. We're just going to make something for leaderboards, get a pellet counter going. You know what I mean? So let's say game players. I almost typed local player on a server script. Oops. Player added connect function player. Now basically we're going to say when a player joins, we're going to say local folder, no, leader stats equals instance.new int value. We're basically going to make leader stats inside that player. We're going to put that inside here. Oh, let's not parent it just yet. Leader stats.name obviously equals leader stats. And then we're going to say local pellets equals instance.new int value pellets.name equals pellets. Pretty clean. Pellets.parent equals leader stats. Basically, we're making a leader stats, the little thing that goes on the top right of your, you know, board here, and then we're putting a value in that called pellets. Where you normally see cash, we're going to put pellets. And we're basically naming it pellets, and then we're going to put it under leader stats. Now we're going to copy this. We're going to make another one. We're going to call this one, actually, let's capitalize that P, pellets. Now let's make another one. We're going to call it cash for now. We could always change it later. No need to be picky. Let's give this a better variable name. Now we're going to set the leader stats parent to player. Nope, whoops, equals. I'm blind. Now if we play, we should have lovely leader stats. There we are. Beautiful. Now if I open my player, you can see the inter value called leader stats, cash, pellets. Make sense? I think that explains it just good enough. Now let's get a little bit more done. We need, we're going to name this leader stats manager. Now we need to make it that we get pellets when we collect pellets. Now obviously we can refine this later, but for now we're going to just leave it like something basic. So I'm thinking, oh, give me a second. Pardon me. Anyhow, let's see, duplicates. Now we don't have to duplicate it. Just make a new one. Script. We're going to call this one Pellet Manager. Hoo-hoo. Fancy. Now what this one's job is, we're basically going to make it watch the pellet folder. So this folder containing all the pellets. And we're going to have it watch for these pellets. And then we're going to have it detect, pellet touch, give you a pellet, all that. And then every time something is removed, we're going to check, is the pellet folder empty? And then when it's empty, we're going to have it refresh all the pellets. So to do that, we're going to need a backup. So let's start with that. Local pellets equals game.workspace pellets. Alright, now let's make a backup. Local pellets backup equals pellets clone. We don't have to put the clone anywhere for now, so we're just gonna leave it at that. Hmm. Just a second. Oof. Really having a coughing fit today. Alright. Now we're gonna do. Now I know a lot of people preferably do 4 IV pairs or whatever, but I do my list a little different. You can criticize me all you want, but it's not like I really care all that much about this game. So we're gonna make a list. We're gonna say game, or actually local pellet list equals game workspace. Actually, no, we can just say pellets. Get children. And if you don't know, this basically returns a list or a table containing every object in that list. Basically, think of it like a shopping list where you have everything on it, right? So it's basically going to return everything that's inside this folder. So all of these pellets. So I can have all of these pellets under one variable. It's pretty nifty. Now we're going to say for I equals number of pellet list to 1 minus 1 do. There we go. Now what this means, number is basically saying the number of objects inside this list. And I'm pretty sure there's like, let me check real quick, 180 items. So this is basically saying 180 to 1, or 180 to 1 minus 1. So it's going to count down from 180 to 1, basically with a tick of 1. So like 180, 179, 178, 177, and so forth, all the way until it reaches 1, right? So we're going to basically scan through each one of these pellets, one by one. It sounds pretty taxing on the game, but it's not that bad, trust me. Now let's say, just a second. Oof. Really coughing up a storm. Ugh. Anyhow. Whew. Alright. Nope, don't do that. Let's say... Hmm. Pellet list I, and that's basically saying we want this specific pellet. So in this case, the first one would be 180. So we're saying pellet number 180, and that's referring to this one. And so it's going to do this for each pellet. So, it's going to do it for each one of these, basically, starting from the top all the way bottom. So we're going to say dot touched. Actually, not yet. I'm trying to think. How did I do that? Oh, right. Function collect. Actually, going to make this a local function. Collect. And we're going to say part, obviously. And we're going to put a local connection, or con for short, equals nil. We're going to say con equals pellet list I. So this pellet, because it's the first one right here, we're at 180 right now, so this is going to be the first one. So we're basically taking this pellet, and we're going to say dot touched. So when it physically interacts with another object, we're going to connect that with the collect function. There we go. So basically, whenever contact is made with the pellet, it then runs everything that's inside of here, right here. Anything between here to here, it's going to run. And I can prove that by going print I've been booped. We're gonna run that in output. Let's hope I'm not stupid. I do tend to be stupid, so. Now if I touch any of these, it should pop up in the output here. And would you look at that? I've been booped. Woo! So now we're officially running touch detection on all of these. So let's give it a little bit more, pizzazz. We're going to say if con is not equal to nil, we're going to go ahead and disconnect it. And that means that once it happens, it can't happen again. As you saw, we touched pellets 46 times. Now, because of this, if I run in here, I'm going to delete all of these pellets with the exception of just one pellet. Actually, let's choose one that's closer. I like this one. There we go. Now, as long as I'm not stupid, it should make it where the moment we touch it, it should disconnect the connection, which means it won't be able to be touched again. Nope, well, that's a little bit of an issue. Oh, I've removed the print. I'm stupid. Just, hold on. Print. Oof. Here we go. See what I mean? Stupid. I'm dumb. Alright. Boom. And if you're noticing, it's not putting that X30 stuff or whatever, so that means it's not firing more than once. There we go. It's a one-use pellet. Now let's put all those pellets back from earlier. There we go. Alright. Now what we want to do is, we want to say, we want to make sure the thing we're touching is actually a player. So we're going to say if part.parent find first child humanoid is not equal to nil. Now, if you don't know, a humanoid is basically the object that goes inside of a living thing. If I click on dummy here and I open him, you see he has a humanoid. It's basically what says that he's alive. If I remove this, it's just gonna. Oh, now he's just a pile of bricks. It's like his soul, basically. We're basically detecting, does this thing have a soul? Now what we can do is, if it's not equal to nil, then, as in, if it's nil being it doesn't exist, meaning if it's not equal to not existing, which means it's there, which means it's a thing that is there. So as in he has a humanoid. God, I'm over-explaining this, I'm stupid. We can then go game.players get player from character, and then we could say part.parent. Now part here is basically what you get for touching something. When you touch something, it returns the part, which is basically what part touched the object. So like my right arm, my left arm, my legs, my torso, my head, right? And I could say part.parent, which if I show you here, like his right arm, his parent would be the dummy model. So like his character. And so I can use his character to find his player object in here, where his, leader stats are stored. And so we could say is not equal to nil, basically meaning that he is a player. So not only is he alive, but we're not touching an NPC. We're touching a real live player with, human fingers and, faces and emotions and expectations and, all those human things. Now we can say our player. Now we're going to quickly put the disconnect up here, but we're going to say local player equals this. Oh, whoops. Wrong. Boom. Now we have a player. So now we're going to say player leader stats dot pellets dot value plus equals 1. Now, basically what this means is we're increasing the value by 1. Now, I know a lot of people preferably do this, equals plus 1, which is basically the value equals the value plus 1. So it's the value is equal to its current value, whatever it is, plus 1. So if it's equal to 2, it's now its value 2 plus 1, so 3, basically adding 1. But you can actually shorten this by just going plus equals, which is basically equal to the same thing. So this is equal to this, nerd stuff. So now we're incrementing the pellet value by 1, and then we say pellet list I destroy. Actually, local pellet equals pellet list I. It's just faster this way. There we go. No, don't do that. There we go. So now, every time we touch any of these pellets, it should increment our pellet counter and remove the pellet, given I'm not retarded. Oh, would you look at that? It removes the pellet, and we make it a pellet in our counter. Now the effects aren't exactly anything to scoff at, but we can work that out in a bit. Wow, 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 wow. Already having too much fun. There we go. Anywho, works like a charm. Alright, sorry about that. Anywho, where. Needless to say, I think that looks pretty good. We now have pellets. Now what we have to do is make it where these pellets regenerate, because as it stands, if I collect all these pellets, well, nothing's going to happen. There's just not going to be any more pellets. So we have to refresh these pellets somehow. That's a little bit tricky. So let's see, let's think. Just a second. Oh, whoops. Come on. I'm sorry, I'm just stupid. Just give me a second. Be right back. I apologize about that. I'm back. Oof, man. I'm sorry for all these distractions. Anyhow, now that we have all this done, which is quite good, there we go. Let's see. I say we do this. We're going to make a function called local function refresh pellets. We're going to leave it empty for now, but we need something to detect when the pellets are empty. Actually, first we're going to put this here. We're going to put that on top. And then we're going to say pellets dot changed connect, or actually child removed connect function. Basically, this is just a more complicated way to write a normal function, but this is basically just saying when a child is removed, so one of the pellets is removed, it's basically just going to check, how many things are, it's basically just going to run everything in here every time something's removed. So every time a pellet gets picked up, we're going to say if pellets or number of pellets get children. So once again, the number of objects inside pellets, and then we're going to give it a count, is less than or equal to 0. Now you could just say equal to 0, but I'm a skepticist, and I sincerely believe that Roblox is somehow going to screw it up and give me a -1, despite the fact you can't possibly have -1 objects. So you could just leave it at equals to 0 like this, but I'm going to say less than or equal to 0 just to be on the safe side. Now we're going to say if it's less than or equal to 0, then we're going to refresh our pellets. All right. Now what our refresh pellets is going to do is we're going to say pellets backup clone. All right. Uh, Actually, before that, we're going to say pellets dot parent equals server storage. I'm just going to do this just in case. Basically, just putting it away for now. We're going to get back to it. Actually, we don't need to do that. We can just destroy it. Pellets destroy. Oh, no, that's not gonna. Oh, I've got a little bit of a hiccups going. Sorry. Anywho, let's see. Pellets parent equals game server storage, and then we're going to say pellets backup clone. Let's see. Local new pellets equals. All right. Sorry. Habit. Um. All right. We're gonna clone it. We're gonna say new pellets. Actually, local new pellets list equals new pellets get children, and for I equals number of new pellets list dot one minus one. Once again, my headset has just suddenly turned off. I'm guessing, I'm just starting to think that if it doesn't have any sound playing, it just assumes I'm not here, even though I'm talking into it. So, uh, anywho, for I equals number of new pellets list minus one, do, yeah, whatever. We're going to say new pellets list I parent equals pellets. Now at the end of this, we can actually just remove the new pellets folder because we've already gotten everything out of it. We're basically just making a clone of the backup, moving all the pellets into the actual pellets folder, and then we're going to say pellets.parent equals workspace, moving it back into workspace. Now we're going to copy this. We're going to give it a different name for my sake, but pellet list 2, just to make sure nothing breaks. Alright. Basically just giving touch detection to the new pellets. No, God, habit, I swear. I'm just addicted to Discord. I swear, I just can't get my hands off it. Alright, now we're gonna take the pellets folder. We're gonna just remove like the most of these real quick. Leave like one of them. I'm not gonna collect all these. There we go. And just like that, it refreshes all of them. Now, I'm going to try doing that again just to be sure that it does work consistently. You always want to test more than once, people. And yep, it works. There you go. Perfecto. Anyhow. Oof. Alright. Hmm. What now? I think, actually, I'm going to stop this here. This recording's been going on for about half an hour, and I know the last one was about 20 before my headset initially died. So this has been 50-ish something minutes, just about. I'm going to keep these for roughly about an hour each. I think we made pretty good progress within the first hour, so far so good. I'm just going to go ahead and stop the recording, and I'm going to pick it up for a new part. I'm not going to go anywhere, but I am just immediately going to start the new part, but I just want to break these up a little bit better. So, see you in the next one.